यशोदानन्दन व्रजनरञ्जन यमुनातीरवनचारी यमुनातीरवनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन यमुनातीरवनचारी यमुनातीरवनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जन जय यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन यमुनातीरवनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद जय जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद जय श्री प्रभु नित्यानंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Gauranitai, Shri Shri Gauranitai. Jaya Krishna Balaram, Krishna Balaram, Krishna Balaram, Jaya Krishna Balaram. Jaya Radha Shama Sundar, Radha Shama Sundar Radhe. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol. Jai Vishnupada Paramahansa Parivacharya Stotra Shri Divine Grace Abhay Chanarvinda Bhakti Vedanta Samshla Prabhupada Ki Jai अनंत कोटि वैष्णववृंद की जय, ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमा श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। Hare Krishna. So welcome all of you for the Bhagavatam class, seeking blessings from Maharaj and other senior Vaishnavas. So today's verse, Canto 10, Chapter 22, text number 21 and 22. Which is that, 21 or 22? तास्तथा वनता दृष्ट्वा भगवान् देवकी सुतः वासांसि ताभ्यः प्रायच्छत् करुणस्तेन तोषितः तास्तथा वनता दृष्ट्वा भगवान् देवकी सुतः वासांसि ताभ्यः प्रायच्छत् करुणस्तेन तोषितः तास्तथा वनता दृष्ट्वा भगवान् देवकी सुतः वासांसि ताभ्यः प्रायच्छत् करुणस्तेन तोषितः सुतः तास्तथा वनता दृष्ट्वा भगवान् देवकी सुतः देवकी सुतः तथा वनता दृष्ट्वा सुतः वासांसि ताभ्यः प्रायच्छत् करुणस्तेन तोषिताः then तथा thus अवनताः bowed down दृष्ट्वा seeing Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Devaki Sutaha, Krishna, the son of Devaki, Vasamshi, the garments, Tabhyaha, to them, Prayachat, he returned, Karunaha, compassionate, Tena, by that act, Toshitaha, satisfied. Translation: seeing them bow down like that, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the son of Devaki, gave them back their garments, feeling compassionate toward them and satisfied by their act. Text 22. dṛḍhaṁ pralabdhās trapayā ca hāpitāḥ prastobhitāḥ krīḍana-vac kāritāḥ vastrāṇi caivāpahṛtāni athāpy amum nābhyasūyan priya-saṅga-nirvṛtāḥ. Although the gopis had been thoroughly cheated, deprived of their modesty, ridiculed and made to act just like toy dolls, and although their clothing had been stolen, they did not feel at all inimical toward Śrī Kṛṣṇa. Rather, they were simply joyful to have this opportunity to associate with their beloved. Purport: Srila Prabhupada comments, this attitude of the gopis is described by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu when he prays, "My dear Lord Krishna, you may embrace me or trample me under your feet, or you may make me broken-hearted by never being present before me. Whatever you like, you can do, because you have complete freedom to act. But in spite of all your dealings, you are my Lord eternally, and I have no other worshipable object." This is the attitude of the gopis towards Krishna. Om Ajnana-timirandhasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurmritastena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamsha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dīnabandho Jagatpate Gopesh Gopika Kanta Radhakant Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhasya Kripa Sindhu Vaivacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyata Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So this is a very difficult chapter to understand. Krishna steals the gopis' garments, vastrāṇi lila. So many people, they object to this, that how Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Absolute Truth, can do such a immoral activity of stealing the garments of young girls. So unless we understand this chapter through the mercy of the Acharyas, through Srila Prabhupada's commentaries, through devotees, so definitely will misunderstand this pastime of Krishna. Unfortunately, many people try to imitate this pastime, and they try to justify, oh, your Krishna also did like that. He did Rasa Leela, he stole the garments of the gopis. So this is an unfortunate condition of people in general. They don't know that Krishna is absolute truth. We cannot imitate the absolute truth. Just like sun, Srila Prabhupada gives the example that any filthy place, like in olden days there was no toilets, bathrooms, so people used to pass stool in the fields. But after a few days, you should turn into manure. Why? Because of sun rays. So sun doesn't get contaminated when the sun rays come in touch with stool. But what gets purified? The stool gets purified. Similarly, whoever comes in touch with Krishna, the absolute truth, it has been told many times in Srimad Bhagavatam that either through lust or anger or by any other, kamyat, Maharaj, what is that shloka? Kamyat, bhayat, like that, whatever, through kam or through fear or through envy, in whichever way we come in touch with Krishna, one gets purified. So that's one lesson we learn from here. And also this pastime glorifies the position of the gopis. Like this 22nd verse, in which in the purport, Srila Prabhupada's commentary from Krishna book has been quoted. So if you read Krishna book, which is such a wonderful book, Srila Prabhupada, he gave to the entire world the pastimes of Lord Krishna, because Srila Prabhupada had a doubt whether he would be able to complete the entire Srimad Bhagavatam, which in fact is true. Srila Prabhupada could not complete the entire Srimad Bhagavatam. Therefore, in 1970, he wrote Krishna book, so that he wanted the entire world to get an authentic understanding of Krishna's pastimes. Because Krishna's pastimes are the most misunderstood by people in general. You go to anyone, they'll question, oh Krishna, he was immoral person, he did this act, he did this, he did that. So therefore, Srila Prabhupada wanted to present a bona fide version of Krishna's pastimes. So in this purport, Srila Prabhupada is commenting and saying that this attitude of the gopis is described by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu when he prays. So which verse of Sikshashtakam Srila Prabhupada quotes? You can trample upon me, you can embrace me. What is that verse? Ashlishya padartam pinashtumam adarshanan marmahatam karotu va yatha tatha va vidadhatu lampato mat prananathastu sevanapara. So I thought let us discuss a little bit about this particular verse that Srila Prabhupada has quoted in the commentary today. In fact, this is the highest, actually Sikshashtakam, as all of you know, that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself did not write any books. Like Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, they wrote many books, but Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself personally didn't write any books. He just wrote 8 verses, which are known as Sikshashtakam, very, very famous, and we all chant every day. But sometimes what happens, we just chant it as a routine without understanding its meaning. So we should contemplate on the meaning of Sikshashtakam also, because it's such an important prayer directly composed by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And this Sikshashtakam actually leads us from the beginning of bhakti to the highest stage of bhakti. So the first line is Cheto Darpana Marjanam. That's the beginning of bhakti. We are chanting the holy names to purify our hearts. And then to the highest stage, which is in the 8th verse, Ashlishya Paratam Pinashtumam. And this is what has been quoted today, and that is the mood of the gopis. Why the gopis are highest devotees of Krishna? Like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, right? Aradhya Bhagavan Brajesha Tanaya Tadhama Vrindavanam Ramyat Kachi Upasana Brajabadhu Barge Naya Kalpita Srimad Bhagavatam Pramanam Amalam Prema Pumartho Mahan Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhur Matamidam Tatradarahana Paraha. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, what is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teachings? It can be summarized in this one verse. Aradhya Bhagavana Brajesha Tanaya. Who is our worshipable Lord? Krishna, Brajesha Tanaya. Tadhama Vrindavanam. Just like Krishna is worshipable, his holy dham Vrindavan is also worshipable by all of us. Ramya Kachit Upasana Brajabadhu. So among all the devotees of Krishna, the highest are the gopis. And among all the scriptures, the highest is Srimad Bhagavatam. And what is the ultimate purpose of life? Prema Pumartho Mahan. So Krishna is a worshipable Lord, his dham is worshipable, gopis are the highest devotees, Srimad Bhagavatam is the best scripture, and the highest goal of life is Krishna Prem. So these 5 lines summarizes the entire teachings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So why the gopis are considered the highest devotees? Because of this absolute surrender to Krishna. which is also exhibited in this pastime. See, I mean, we are talking of 5,000 years back when the Vedic culture was so strong. I mean, let's think from that, what was the situation during that time? That time, most of the women were absolutely chaste. There was no question of, they were absolutely covered with clothes. They were married at young age. There was no question of them coming before any other man, Forget about coming undressed. The Vedic culture was so strong. Prabhupada writes in Krishna book that a woman can become naked only in front of her husband, nobody else. But in this pastime, Krishna, he forced them to come naked in front of him. So there are various reasons, as I told, in this pastime, various lessons to be learned. One of the aspects that comes out is absolute surrender of the gopis for Krishna. They didn't hesitate. Whatever Krishna ordered, they simply followed. Another aspect is, there are so many aspects. Another aspect is because they prayed. We know in the beginning of the chapter, you must have heard that they worshipped. Whom did they worship, the gopis? Katyayani Devi. Katyayani Mahamaye Mahayogini Adhishwari Nanda Gopa Sutam Devi Patim Me Kurute Namaha Iti Mantram Japantyastha Pujam Chakru Kumarika. So these Kumaris, the gopis, what they were praying to Mother Katyayani? O Goddess Katyayani, O great potency of the Lord, O possessor of great mystic power and mighty controller of all, please make the son of Nanda Maharaj my husband. I offer my obeisances unto you. So all the young gopis, they prayed to Mother Katyayani to award Krishna as their husband. Nanda Gopa Sutam Devi Patim Me Kurute Nama. Please make the son of Maharaj Nanda as our patis, husbands. So Krishna wanted to fulfill that desire. So therefore he forced them, because he knew the inner desire of the gopis. Therefore did this pastime. And of course another thing we see that Krishna instructed that you should not take bath naked in water. That's also an etiquette, that therefore we should always wear some clothes when we take bath in holy river like Ganga, Yamuna, etc. But one of the main things that comes out, especially in today's verse, is that how the gopis were fully surrendered to Krishna, like dolls. No independence. This is absolute surrender. Krishna, whatever you like, you can do with us. Maro bhi rakho bhi, jo ichha tuhar. Whatever you want, you can do. Nitya dasapadi prati tuvadhikar. Oh Krishna, we are eternal servants. Whatever you want, you can do. Of course, many devotees in Srimad Bhagavatam, they exhibit this mood. Even the Pandavas, they underwent so many difficulties, troubles. Sometimes, we feel that devotees means no more difficulties. And especially newcomers, we sometimes feel that, I am chanting, in spite of that Krishna is giving me so much trouble. Look at others, they are enjoying so much. And they are so happy. And look at me, I am chanting, I am so sick, I am being troubled, I have no money, or this and that. We think like that. But that shows that how our devotion is so immature if these thoughts are coming. But you look at life of devotees in Srimad Bhagavatam. So many examples. Starting the first canto itself from the Pandavas. Beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam. That's the first devotees, they introduced in Srimad Bhagavatam, the Pandavas. Actually Narad Muni also in the beginning. But later the Pandavas. How much suffering they underwent. Unimaginable. Right from their young days, Duryodhan wanted to kill them in so many different ways. And then the kingdom was taken. They were in exile for 12 years, 13 years. Draupadi was almost disrobed. So many difficulties. Then Mahabharat battle, Abhimanyu died. And not only that, we see in the 7th chapter of 1st canto, after almost the Mahabharat was over. And this son of Dronacharya, Ashwathama, he killed the 5 young sons of Draupadi. Imagine, for a mother, 5 young sons being killed. Can't even imagine, In the night, Draupadi, it is said in Mahabharata, that she told nice stories to all the boys. They were young, maybe 17, 18-year-old. They said, mother, we want to hear a story from you. So Draupadi told some nice stories to them. And they told that, please sleep with us. But Draupadi said, no, I have to take care of my husband. So she went back. And in the morning, all the sons were beheaded. Krishna was right there. In front of Krishna this happened. But have we seen even once the Pandavas or Draupadi blaming Krishna? Oh Krishna, what is this? We have done so much service for you. And what have we got in return? No, they never questioned Krishna. They never blamed Krishna. Rather, they gratefully accepted that as Krishna's divine will. And in fact, Draupadi, she prayed when Krishna told Arjuna, you kill Ashwathama. What do we see? Draupadi, she prayed. No, please leave. He is our Guru's son. Just like I am suffering because my sons have been killed, I don't want that Dronacharya's wife, who is our Guru Mata, to suffer in the same way. So please leave him. So this is a devotee's heart, a Vaishnava's heart. Of course, we are far, at least I am far away from that goal. At least we can hear this and pray to Krishna that maybe we can get a tinge of this surrender that these devotees like Pandavas, Draupadi, they exhibit for Krishna. Like that, so many wonderful examples in Bhagavatam where devotees, whatever happens to them, they never protest or they never blame Krishna. Look at Ambarish Maharaj. 1 year he was fasting. What was his mistake? I mean, Ambarish, Durvasha came and he was waiting for Durvasha. But then Durvasha became angry on him and wanted to kill him, took out a demon. But what happened? The demon was killed by Sudarshan. And Durvasha Muni was running around the entire universe for 1 year. He came back. And when he came back, Ambarish Maharaj didn't say, oh, see, you got what you deserve. No. He prayed that you have done no mistake, oh Krishna, please forgive him. So many such great examples we see. Devotees who exhibit this mood of aslishyava padarata. Absolute surrender to Krishna. Whatever Krishna may do, they never protest. They never react. Rather, they accept all these situations as Krishna's mercy and they increase their surrender to Krishna. Now let's talk about gopīs. Their surrender is the highest. You saw this pastime during this pastime how they simply followed Krishna. Absolute surrender. And later when Krishna left Vrindavan, that was the toughest test for the gopīs. They loved Krishna so much and Krishna cheated them and left, transcendental cheating, and said, I'll come back after 2 days, parson, He said, I'll come back after 1 or 2 days. But then he never came back. But what happened to the devotional service of the gopīs? What happened to their remembrance of Krishna? It actually was intensified. The remembrance of Krishna was getting more and more thicker. Just like we try our best to remember Krishna, but it's difficult to remember Krishna. The gopīs tried their best to forget Krishna, but they could never forget Krishna. Everywhere they're looking, they were just remembering Krishna. So this pastime of Krishna, living Vraj, is actually shows that highest position of gopīs. How much they surrender to Krishna. That although Krishna left them, he made them broken-hearted by not being present before them. He trampled them actually. Or sometimes he embraced them during Rasa Leela. But for gopīs, Krishna is their absolute Lord. Mat prananathastu sevanapara. Especially Srimati Radharani, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in the mood of Srimati Radharani, chanted these 8 verses. Saying, Mat prananathastu sevanapara. Oh Krishna, you are my prananath. You are the life of my, you are my life. You are the master of my life, prananath. Whatever you may do, you may embrace me or you may trample me under your feet. Whatever you may do, unconditionally, you are my Lord of my life. You are my worshipable Lord. Unconditionally. This word, unconditioned, actually, unconditionally, this we see only to the highest degree in the life of the gopīs. That without any condition, they simply love Krishna. That is called the highest form of prema, where there is no condition. Ahetuki. apratihata, without any motivation, without any interruption, without any hindrance. They always remembered Krishna. So now we may think, well, this is very, very high for us, how can we go there? Therefore, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given in Shiksha-ashtakam various stages. Let us read a little bit from Chaitanya Charitamrita. Anyone knows in which chapter of Chaitanya Charitamrita Shiksha-ashtakam is given? The last chapter of Chaitanya Charitamrita. Just see the importance of Shiksha-ashtakam. It is said, right, that among all the scriptures, like we say, first Bhagavad-Gita, then Bhagavatam, then Chaitanya Charitamrita, right? Post, it's like PhD study. And within Chaitanya Charitamrita, the last chapter is Shiksha-ashtakam. So you can imagine the importance this chapter has for all of us. That means it's the most important of all the chapters in all the scriptures. The last chapter of Chaitanya Charitamrita. So since today we read about Aslishya Vāpādaratam Pinasthumam, let us read a little bit how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personally relishes these Shiksha-ashtakam verses, and he discusses these verses with his dear devotees, Ramananda Rai and Sarup Damodar. You know, right, that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he performed pastimes for 48 years only. He took sannyas at the age of 24, then he went to South India Yatra, then he went to Vrindavan also, and he performed pastimes in Rath Yatra in Jagannath Puri. But for the last 12 years, he was a little reclusive, especially last years. He, in the daytime, of course, he used to meet devotees, do kirtan. But throughout the night, he used to relish the highest mood of the mood of Srimati Radharani, which we know is the internal reason for Mahaprabhu's appearance. Why Krishna took the form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Externally to preach Krishna Bhakti, Braj Prem, to propagate holy name. But internally he wanted to relish the mood of Srimati Radharani. So this is where we see that how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is relishing the mood of Srimati Radharani. Just like Lalita Vishakha, they are always there next to Radha Shyam Sundar. The same Lalita Vishakha in the form of Sarup Damodar and Ramananda Roy. They were always there with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu throughout the day and night, especially during the night time, because Mahaprabhu's separation from Krishna was uncontrollable. There is a small room, Gambhira. How many of you have been there in Jagannath Puri? Very special place. That room is still there where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu where he used to stay in Jagannath Puri. Small room. Mahaprabhu used to rub his nose against the wall out of separation from Krishna. He used to bleed. Sometimes the door was closed, but Mahaprabhu used to escape from there and go to the bank of ocean. Amazing, most astounding pastimes Mahaprabhu exhibited. So, in this 20th chapter, the last chapter of Chaitanya Charitamrita, Antalila, the Shiksha-ashtak prayers, we'll read something from here. Jaya Jaya Gaura Chanda Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Eimata Mahaprabhu Vaise Nila Chale Rajani Divase Krishna Virahate Vivhale. While Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu thus resided at Jagannath Puri, he was continuously overwhelmed night and day by separation from Krishna. Day and night he tasted transcendental blissful songs and verses with his two associates, namely Sarup Damodar Goswami and Ramananda Rai. He relished the symptoms of various transcendental emotions such as jubilation, lamentation, anger, humility, anxiety, grief, eagerness and satisfaction. He would recite his own verses, expressing their meanings and emotions, and thus enjoy tasting them with these two friends. Sometimes the Lord would be absorbed in a particular emotion and would stay awake all night, reciting related verses and relishing their taste. So especially Mahaprabhu used to relish, it is said, songs written by Chandidas, by Jayadev Goswami, Gita Govindam. So these verses used to relish. And sometimes of course verses from Bhagavatam and his own verses, which is Shikshashtakam. So once he told, Harshe Prabhu kahena suna sarupa Rama Rai, Nama Sankirtana Kalo Parama Upay. Very famous sloka. He sing, Oh Damodar, Saru Damodar, Ramananda Rai, know from me that chanting the holy names is the most feasible means of salvation in the age of Kali. Parama Upay. The highest Upay in this age of Kali is Nama Sankirtan. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Sankirtana yagya kalo Krishna aradhana, Seita sumedha paya Krishnera charana. In this age of Kali, the process of worshipping Krishna is to perform sacrifice by chanting the holy name of the Lord. One who does so is certainly very intelligent and he attains shelter at the lotus feet of Krishna. Krishna Varnam Tvisa Krishnam Sangopangasra Parshadam Yagya Sankirtana Prair Yajanti Sumedhasa. So what this verse says, Sumedhasa. Medhasa means intelligent, very intelligent. So who is the most intelligent person? Who takes part in this Sankirtan Yagya. And in our temple we have 24 hours Sankirtan Yagya going on. So anyone who participates is the most intelligent person. Simply by chanting the holy name of Lord Krishna, one can be freed from all undesirable habits. Nama Sankirtana hoite sarva anartha nash. Sarva Shubhodaya Krishna Premera Ullas. So by Nam Sankirtan, one, all the anarthas are destroyed. Sometimes we are very much bothered that how the anarthas will go away. We are chanting for so many years. But you need to have patience that simply by Nam Sankirtan, all the anarthas will go away. And Krishna Premera Ullas. And very soon, we will experience Krishna Prem. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu starts quoting his own 8 verses, starting from the first verse. Cheto, we can chant together. Cheto darpanamarjanam bhava mahadavagni-nirvāpanam shreya kaivāpahṛtāni vitaranam vidyavadhu jivanam anandam buddhivardhanam Pratipadam purnamrita swadanam sarvatmasna panang param vijayate Śrī Kṛṣṇa sankirtanam. Okay. Let there be all victory for the chanting of the holy name of Lord Krishna, which can cleanse the mirror of the heart and stop the miseries of the blazing fire of material existence. That chanting is a waxing moon that spreads the white lotus of good fortune for all living entities. It's the life and soul of all education. The chanting of the holy name of Krishna expands the blissful ocean of transcendental life. It gives the cooling effect to everyone and enables to taste full nectar at every step. So again here we see in this one verse itself various effects of chanting is mentioned. The first effect is Cheto Darpana Marjanam, cleansing of the heart. Just like we read the Gundicha Marjan pastime, where Mahaprabhu is showing how to clean our heart by chanting the holy names. Then what happens? Bhava Mahadavagni-nirvāpanam. The blazing fire of material existence is extinguished. And then gradually we come to the stage of Purna Amrita Swadadam Pratipadam. So at every step we can relish highest bliss. Gradually, not immediately, but as we keep chanting we'll come to that stage. And then he explains that how the glories of chanting, Mahaprabhu explains this. Krishna Premodgama Premamrita Aswadana Krishna Papti Sevamrita Su Samudre Ramajana. The result of chanting is that one awakens his love for Krishna and tastes transcendental bliss. Ultimately one attains association of Krishna and engages in his devotional service. as if immersing himself in a great ocean of love. So there is nothing else required. Sometimes, there are some Babajis who talk about Siddhi Pranali, Siddha there. Nothing. Holy name is everything. It can reveal our Swarupa. Everything is there in holy name. Then the second verse, Namna Makari Bahuda Nija Sharva Shaktis Tatrarpita Niyamita Smaranena Kala Etadrashi Tava Kripa Bhagavan Mamapi Durdaivam Idrisham Iha Janina Anuraga. He glorifies the wonderful, the effect of holy name, the power of holy name. I'll read that exact translation by Srila Prabhupada. My Lord, O Supreme Personality of Godhead, in your holy name, there is all good fortune for all the living entities. And therefore, you have many names such as Krishna and Govinda, by which you expand yourself. You have invested all your potencies in those names, and there are no hard and fast rules for these names, for remembering them. My dear Lord, although you bestow such mercy upon the fallen conditioned souls by liberally teaching your holy names, I am so unfortunate that I commit offenses while chanting the holy name, and therefore I do not achieve attachment for chanting. This translation is actually very beautiful. Sometimes the other translation, I don't know from where it has been taken, but in Chaitanya Charitamrita, this translation is like perfect. Prabhupada is saying here that why I don't have taste? Because of offenses. Durdaivam idrisham iha janina anuraga. Why we don't have taste for chanting? Because of offenses. And then therefore Mahaprabhu is saying, O Swarup Damodar Goswami Ramandra, hear from me the symptoms of how one should chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra to awaken very easily one's dormant love for Krishna. So how many of us want to awaken our dormant love for Krishna? Everyone here? So here is the secret. Many times you get this question that why we are not getting Krishna Prem, why, So because we are not following the process. Mahaprabhu is saying how to chant. Trinadapi sunichena tarorapi sahishnuna amanina manadena kirtaniya sadahari. One should chant, one who thinks himself lower than the grass, who is more tolerant than a tree, and who does not expect personal honor, but is always prepared to give all respect to others, can very easily always chant the holy name of the Lord. Such a simple process, but the application is difficult. In first canto of Bhagavatam, Prabhupada writes in a purport this line. The process is very simple, but application is difficult. So the process is very simple. Very, very simple. Just follow this one verse. That's it. Nothing else is required. Only one verse will get Krishna Prem. But the application is so difficult. Just to follow this one verse is the most difficult challenge. And therefore Krishnadas Goswami says that we should wear this verse around our neck. I was thinking maybe in future in our gift shops, some devotees will make a garland, some beads with this Trinadapi verse written. Till I have not seen. Has anyone seen any devotee wearing this around the neck? But Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says that we should wear this verse around our neck so that we are always reminded about this verse. I'm talking about me also. Just not able to follow this verse, but at least praying that. Because this is the secret. Once I heard that when Srila Prabhupada was in Prayag, what he was doing that time? Making medicines. But of course he was a Vaishnav, highest Vaishnav. So his friend O.V.L. Kapoor came to him, another very exalted Vaishnav. So Srila Prabhupada said, he said, do you have any tonic for getting Krishna Prem? Srila Prabhupada said, yes, I know the formula, but I have not yet prepared the tonic. Then he said, what is the formula of the tonic? Trinadapi sunichena taror eva sahishnuna amanina manadena kirtaniya sadahari. I don't know why it's so difficult, but it's so difficult to follow this verse. For most of us, I'm sure some of you are very exalted, but especially for me and many of us, this is so difficult to follow. But this is the secret. This is the only way. So in this way, Mahaprabhu quotes this verse, give the example of trees, that how even if a tree is cut, the tree doesn't protest. Rather, the tree gives shade to the person who is coming to cut the tree. And gives fruits to that person. Imagine, somebody is coming to harm you and still you respect that person, and that's very difficult, very, very high stage. But you have seen Haridas Thakur and other great Vaishnavas, they actually have shown this. He was praying for those who were beating him. Sudarshan Chakra was there ready to kill all their heads. But Haridas Thakur prayed to Krishna, oh please forgive them. So, this is what? Like a tree. And then he talks about, so this is actually where we get stuck, because we don't follow this verse. And if we actually chant properly, then naturally we'll come to the next stage. Na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim. All our anarthas will go away. Kavitaṁ va jagadishya kame. And then we can ainanda tanuja kinkaram patitang mam vishame bhavam budhu kripya tava pada pankaja sita dhuli shadrisham vishinte. This actually is the beginning of, I'm not sure exactly, there are many commentaries written on Sikshashtakam. I think this is the beginning of bhava stage. Because at that point, a devotee is accepting that, yes, I am your servant, Kim Kara. Where he realizes his constitutional position, that I am Krishna's servant. Please accept me. And then, Nayanam Galadashru Dharaya, tears coming from the eyes. And then, Yugaitam Nimeshena. And then comes Ashlishya Vapadaram. So I'll just skip few of the verses. And directly we'll come to this Ashlishya Vapadaratam and read a few verses explaining this. Yes, especially it is said that this verse Mahaprabhu spoke in the mood of Srimati Radharani's. Eta bhave Radharamana asthira hoila sakhi gane age praudhi shloko ye padhila. In that mood, the mind of Srimati Radharani was agitated, and therefore she spoke a verse of advanced devotion to her gopi friend. So this verse is very, very advanced level. In the same spirit of ecstasy, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu recited that verse, and as soon as he did so, he felt like Srimati Radharani. Sei bhave prabhu sei shloka ucharila shloka ucharite tada Rupa apane hoila. So, Mahaprabhu, in the mood of Srimati Radharani, he chants this particular verse. Because this verse is actually Srimati Radharani's mood. Ashlishya va padartam pinasthumam adarshanan manmahatam karotu va yatha tatha va vidadhatulam pato mat prananathasthu sevana paraha. Let Krishna tightly embrace me. Embrace this maid servant who has fallen at his lotus feet. Or let him trample me or break my heart by never being visible to me. He is a debauchee, after all, and can do whatever he likes. But still, he alone and no one else is the worshipable Lord of my heart. Ami Krishna pada dasi teho rasa sukha rasi alingya kare atmasat kibana do darshana jare na mora tanu mana tabu teho mora prananath. I am a maid servant at the lotus feet of Krishna. He is the embodiment of transcendental happiness and mellows. If he likes, he can tightly embrace me and make me feel oneness with him. Or, by not giving his audience, he may corrode my mind and body. Nevertheless, it is he who is the Lord of my life. My dear friend, just hear the decision of my mind. Krishna is the Lord of my life in all conditions. Whether he shows me affection or kills me by giving me unhappiness. Sometimes Krishna gives up the company of other gopis and becomes controlled mind and body by me. Thus he manifests my good fortune and gives others distress by performing his loving affairs with me. Or since after he is very cunning, obstinate debauchee with a propensity to cheat, he takes to the company of other women. He then indulges in loving affairs with them in front of me to give distress to my mind. Nevertheless, he is still the Lord of my life. Now this is the mood, you see. Nagani apana dukha sabe vanchi tara sukhe amara tatparya more yadi diya dukha tara hoila mahasukha sei dukha mora sukha varya. We'll just, last verse we'll read, please hear carefully. I do not mind my personal distress. Who is saying this? Srimati Radharani. I do not mind my personal distress. I only wish for the happiness of Krishna, and for his happiness is the goal of my life. However, if he feels great happiness in giving me distress, that distress is the best of my happiness. Just see, how poetic and nice. So what is the only goal? Srimati Radharani is saying to please Krishna. So saying if Krishna is pleased by giving me unhappiness, so be it. No problem. I mean, very high stage. We are just reading for purification. Srila Prabhupada explains in the purport. A pure devotee has no way of sensing happiness except by seeing that Krishna is happy in every respect. If Krishna becomes happy by giving him distress, such a devotee accepts that unhappiness as the greatest of all happiness. So this is the mood of the gopīs, Srimati Radharani. Very, very exalted mood. So of course we cannot imitate, but we can humbly pray that at least we may understand this mood by Krishna's mercy, and we may be more sincere in following the process of devotional service and follow the teachings of Mahaprabhu given in his Sikshashtakam. And what is the most crucial verse for all of us? The third verse. Because Mahaprabhu is saying that one has to chant in this mood, only then he will get Krishna Prem. It's very clear. So therefore, let us pray today that we may also develop this mood and try to follow the teachings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Sikshashtakam. It is the essence of all the teachings of all the Vedas, all the scriptures. Mahaprabhu personally spoke these 8 verses, starting with Chetodarpana Marjanam and ending with Ashlishya Padaratam, the highest stage. Thank you very much. Any questions or comments? Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you so much for explaining very nicely all this Nama and its result. So, as ISKCON is spreading like a ocean within these 57 years, and there are many devotees, and many devotees think like only chanting by this holy name we can overcome this material world and enter into spiritual world. So I just want to request you to explain the 3 kinds of nama, which is nama aprad, nama abhas, and result of nama aprad, result of nama abhas, and result of pure nam, so that devotees will understand what is the meaning of pure name. Otherwise, we are committing offenses. And that's why we are not getting Krishna Prem.
Yes, so thank you, Prabhu, for this comment and request. I remember many years back in Vrindavan, there was a devotee. He suddenly disappeared. I mean, he's not Sarang Thakur Prabhu, that devotee who was chanting every day, Bahu Janma Kariyadi Shravana Kirtan, Tavetana Pai Krishna. Brajanand. Yeah, Brajanand Prabhu. I think for many years he was chanting in the morning this Bahu Janma Kariyadi Shravana Kirtan. Tavetana Paya Krishna Pade Premadhan, and they should chant this 10 offenses. So yeah, this is very important. In many ISKCON temples we chant, some places we don't chant, but the problem is that we somehow don't take it very lightly. We don't take offenses very seriously. Same with me, but the more we hear about the glories of chanting and how we should chant, mood. So mood of chanting is very important. It's not that simply by chanting we'll get Krishna Prem. No, Mahaprabhu never said that. In what mood? Mahaprabhu is personally saying, only if you chant in this mood, Trinadapi Sunishana mood, then you will get Krishna Prem. Not otherwise. If you chant Namaprad, the detail is given in Harinam Chintamani. Of course, there is no time, there can be a full seminar on this. It is said that Namaprad Nam will increase your material desires, will give you a lot of material opulences. You will get big house, big cars, big position. All that you will easily get by doing Namaprad. And you may think, oh, I am advancing in bhakti nicely. Krishna, look, Krishna is reciprocating, giving me nice house, nice car, nice position. But that is not why we are chanting Harinam for. That's Namaprad. So, we have to get out of Namaprad, try our best, and then we'll come to Namabhas. And then, if we come to Namabhas, then automatically by Krishna's mercy we'll attain to Shuddhanam. So at least we should endeavor to avoid the 10 offenses as far as possible. So we should hear about it, associate with devotees.